tracker in my car, so I put it on a cargo truck heading to Canada. But now I've received the strangest call. 3 months ago, I left my ex-husband Daniel after he put me in the hospital for the second time. The restraining order was supposed to keep him away from me and our 6-year-old daughter Emma. I'd been so careful. New apartment across town, new phone number. Emma's school had his photo at the front desk with strict pickup instructions. Different grocery stores, different routes to work. Last Tuesday, I was running late for Emma's dentist appointment. When I reached under the passenger seat to grab my coffee cup, my fingers brushed against something small and hard, wedged deep into the seat track. It was a GPS tracker, commercial grade, the kind with real-time monitoring. I knew immediately it was Daniel. During our marriage, he'd hidden cameras in our bedroom to monitor my every move. But this was different. This was after the restraining order. This wasn't controlling anymore. This was criminal stalking. If he knew where I lived, where Emma's school was, our entire safety plan was worthless. Emma's field trip was tomorrow, her class going to the science museum, and I was supposed to chaperone. If Daniel had been monitoring my car, he knew when I'd be distracted in a crowded public space where he could blend in. I called my lawyer from the parking lot. She told me to document everything and bring the tracker to the police, but I knew how that would go. I'd reported Daniel's violations before the threatening texts, the flowers on my doorstep. Nothing happened. Daniel's brother is a deputy in the next county. Evidence always went missing. That's when I made a different choice. I drove to a truck stop outside the city, waited until I spotted a long-haul rig with Canadian plates, and handed the driver $200 cash to attach the tracker under his trailer. I watched Daniel's tracker disappear northbound on I-94, heading toward the Canadian border. Then I went dark, called out sick, pulled Emma from school, and stayed with my sister 2 hours away. I left my car parked at my apartment, towered off my phone, and waited. Yesterday morning, my sister's landline rang. The number was blocked. You think you're clever? Daniel's voice was tight with barely controlled rage. Moving my tracker around? Playing games? If he'd discovered the tracker was on a truck, that meant he'd been monitoring it obsessively. I don't know what you don't. His voice dropped to that dangerous quiet tone I remembered too well. I've been watching you for months. I know every place you go, every person you talk to. You can't hide from me. The tracker going to Canada had broken something in his surveillance system, and instead of staying hidden, he'd called to reassert control. Where's Emma? He demanded. I hung up immediately and called my lawyer's emergency line. If he admitted on a call that he's been tracking you for months, that's a direct restraining order violation with evidence. I called the police from my sister's house, played the voicemails Daniel had left after I hung up 3 messages, each more threatening, and showed them the tracker. The detective assigned to my case was a woman named Sarah Chen. Unlike the other officers, she didn't dismiss my concerns. How long has this tracker been active? She asked. I don't know. I found it yesterday. She made a call. 20 minutes later, she had Daniel's tracking account records. He'd installed the device 4 months ago, 2 weeks after the restraining order, and had been monitoring my location 47 times per day. The logs showed everything. Every school pickup, every grocery run, my AA meetings, my mother's nursing home, Emma's ballet classes. The prosecutor filed criminal stalking charges that afternoon. Daniel was arrested at his apartment, where they found the tracking software still open, my car's location frozen at the Canadian border, and hundreds of photographs he'd taken of me and Emma from a distance. During the search, they found something worse. A packed duffel bag in his trunk with rope, duct tape, and 2 plane tickets to Mexico dated for next week. 1 adult, 1 child. The detective said based on his behavior, the obsessive monitoring, the packed bag, the tickets, they believed he'd been planning to abduct Emma. Daniel's currently in county jail on $500,000 bail. The stalking charges carry up to 5 years. His brother, the deputy, is under investigation for tampering with my previous reports. The prosecutor told me yesterday that the tracker evidence, specifically the logs showing 4 months of systematic monitoring after a restraining order, was the breakthrough they needed. Daniel had been careful about everything else, but he'd never imagined I'd find the device. I found a tracker in my car, so I put it on